Now, I quickly wanted to grab your attention before we get into the video, because what I see a lot right now in the crypto trading market is that a lot of traders are trading without a strategy, without risk management. They're essentially gambling. And that is truly where I think the Cilinix Premium Group has a lot of value, because not only do you get profitable signals, trades you can follow easily, you get material to make you a profitable trader yourself. And right now we have also added indicators that I have coded myself, such as the Momentum Initiative candle, which you can see on the screen, accurately predicted new momentum coming in at the recent Bitcoin bottom. Incredibly valuable. Links will be down in the description. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto, and welcome to yet another video on the markets. It's getting a little bit much, all the videos, all the urgent updates, all the critical updates that we have to do in the market right now. But that is the way the market is behaving right now. We'll talk about the fundamentals that are relevant for today. We'll talk about the technicals. We'll talk about my current ideas of where Bitcoin could bottom, and we'll talk about what to expect for Ethereum, XRP, and potentially altcoins. There were some altcoins that I was looking at earlier today where I thought, okay, well, that looks mildly interesting, but I have to say at the moment, yeah, I'm going to tell you about two altcoins that are actually relatively strong, but I think it's good to be cautious with both. Well, two narratives actually. But okay, so more on that later. First of all, when we're talking about Bitcoin right now, we've just had the NYO, right? So the US session has just opened. When we talk about the volatility index opened higher and is also still rallying. So there is still unrest in the markets, and unrest is still increasing. That's not a good thing. A couple of things that I do want to say. Michael Saylor, though, is not selling Bitcoin. There's some reports on that coming out. That is not true. Iran seized an oil tanker, I think, in the Strait of Hormuz. That is also not something major, or at least that does not seem to be the start of some sort of a major escalation when it comes to oil, which obviously the price of oil is also very important for the markets. Now, it seems to me that the current instability in the financial markets, which is definitely still there, and you can also see that with the price action right now, is caused by a mix of uncertainty when it comes to the monetary policy of the United States, and I still think that there is a problem with liquidity in the United States, okay? Now, there is some positive development in that. If we look at repo operations, if there are repo operations, that's a sign of liquidity stress. You can see that overnight today, those have been minimal. So that is a good sign. But I do want to stress that it doesn't necessarily seem to be over. The Federal Reserve is still in QT. They're not in QE yet, and they've also not ended QT yet. Although the balance sheet for the Federal Reserve actually expanded a little bit over the last week, which is actually QE, but it's in general, the trend is still QT. So you can see the SOFR spread. We have to wait for this. I'll keep you updated on this on my X page, so make sure to follow me there. In general there, I've posted a lot of updates regarding the markets. So we want this to decrease. This is still elevated. We still had a lot of repo operations. So that in combination with the monetary policy is, I think, why we still have a lot of uncertainty among some other minor things, right? I mean, it's always 101 things that kind of come together and increase instability. So volatility index is still rallying. That's bearish. Gold has dropped significantly though. So that could be the start of something good. Ultimately, what I think right now when we're talking about the general crypto markets is I don't think a bottom has been confirmed, but I do think, I mean, you can see right here that the selling is getting less aggressive. There's less power in the selling. You can see that the volume is getting lower right here with every move down until the one we actually got right here. But we're actually holding, and we have a significant support level again. We have a significant support level between 94,500 and 90,000. And although I think short term, it's good to be cautious and it's good to expect the price to drop down lower into that area, I do think that this area is going to hold as support. So yesterday evening, when the price of Bitcoin was trading at around 98,500, I said, I think it's most likely we're going to drop down lower into that level between 94,500 and 90,000. And when I'm judging the fundamentals, so when I'm judging what's going on right now in the US economy, but also worldwide, I would say, okay, it's not great, so it's good to be cautious, but I do think this support level is going to hold us up. It's a critical support zone in general. It's been a value area low, for example, for the majority of the time from November 2024 until February 2025. We have a massive fair value gap right there on the 3-day time frame. We have a psychological support level at 90,000. We have the 0.618 fib of the move up this year. We have the 200 EMA. So we have a lot of technical strength. We have psychological strength, and fundamentally, I think dropping down below that level is unlikely. So yes, I'm still cautious, but I think a bottom is coming relatively soon. And if the SOFR spread today actually drops down significantly, which is a possibility, we could have already bottomed right here. That is a possibility, but that is something I'll keep you updated on. We have to wait for some more data to kick in. Equities, by the way, have also dropped down much pre-market, so that's not amazing to see. But those are my general thoughts about the market, right? So in short, I would say it's good to be cautious. It's good to expect one more move down into that area between 94,500 and 90,000. But from there, I do expect support. And if we get good news regarding the liquidity situation in the United States, this might have been the bottom. We've actually seen quite a lot of bottom confirmations already at the current level. Now, XRP and Ethereum are going to move exactly with that. Ethereum so far has been able to hold support very, very well. Ethereum actually looks a little bit better than Bitcoin. And XRP as well. XRP spiked down into that level, which we expected this morning at 2.22, 2.2. Ethereum and XRP are just going to follow Bitcoin primarily, which Bitcoin is looking better by the minute, which is a good thing. Now, like I said, I promised all of you that we were still going to talk about some altcoins. I do want to stress right here that I think you should still be very, very careful with altcoins. However, there's two things that I'm seeing right now. First of all, I think Oster is actually, so yes, the infamous Oster, I think that is actually holding relatively well. As you can see, it's holding relatively well versus the market circumstances that have fought against the markets. So it's a relatively strong altcoin. I think Quant is still relatively strong. Oh, look at that beautiful setup right there. So that's relatively strong. And last but definitely not least, I am seeing some renewed momentum for privacy coins. Zcash is trying to rally. If Zcash is able to reclaim 540 and hold that, I think the whole privacy narrative can rally again. So then we're talking about Zcash, we're talking about Starknet, we're talking about Dash, and we're talking about Zen. But Zen actually doesn't have that much momentum at the moment. Those are my thoughts. That's what I think you need to know this Friday. So in advance, have a great weekend, everybody. I will keep you updated on the markets as well, of course. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.